So how good is actually intuition? Hi and welcome to a form of cEDH card review. Should you play intuition in your commander deck? That's what we're going to try to answer in this video. But the big inspiration for doing this video is because gifts ungiven might be becoming legal in some cEDH tournaments. And if we're going to unban something, we kind of want to know if it's going to be safe. So a good way to figure that out is to look into the performance of intuition. If you've been following me on my YouTube channel, you know that I do calculate statistics on various commanders and calculate win rate on commanders, but also individual card inside those commander options. Mostly I look at one specific commander and then look at all different variations of cards. But now we're kind of doing the opposite. We're choosing one card and then looking at variations of different commanders, how good that card is inside that specific commander. So if we begin with Tuna Crom, you can clearly see that it's something of an auto-include and heavily auto-include. So we have a total of 2,978 tournament entries with Tuna and Crom. From those, we have 2,902 that have included intuition, a basic inclusion rate of 97.4%. And yeah, it's an auto-include basically for Tuna and Crom. That's how good it is in their color pie and commander combination. We also have Breya, the same color combination, also playing intuition and also doing good in Breya. Now Breya is not a commander that is performing great, but it's performing a little bit better if you have intuition inside Breya. That plus 0.34 is the big value you should be focusing on. As you can see, it's actually increasing. The average win rate for Breya total is 18.18%, but with intuition in it, it becomes 18.52. But let's cut red and start looking at Jeskai. So here we have one Jeskai coming out. As you can see here, pretty heavily auto-included for Bralin and Shabraz. Also not performing great. And you could argue that the win rate is dropping a tiny micromillimeter, but the sample size is very small. As you can see, intuition inside Bralin is still kinda popular. For Elsha of the Infinite, it seems great. You're finding that Svin's Reclamation, Undual Breach, and using the blue intuition to complete the entire package. As you can see, it's close to an auto-include, similar to how it was for Tuna and Crom. We have more Jeskai decks, Narset and Light and Exile, also auto-including intuition as well. But what about Grixis commanders? Let's begin by Inala. Heavily play intuition, increasing the win rate a tiny bit. Kess also heavily play intuition and also increase the win rate somewhat. The problem here is that you don't have white if you're playing Grixis, so you can't find Svin's Reclamation with your intuition package, but it's still a tutor, and these commanders are usually playing Reanimator strategies, so entombing some cards isn't that bad apparently for them. And then we have the big bomb Grixis commander pair, Rograk and Silas. They are not playing intuition, because it is apparently too slow for them. As you can see here, only 17 out of 1008 decks have included intuition, and those that did saw a drastic decrease in their win rate. This originally is a very fast turbo ad nauseam decks. I can see where intuition doesn't really fit into that concept. Where Inala can put Spell Seeker into the graveyard and then just reanimate it. You could literally find one Spell Seeker and then 2 reanimation spells, and it doesn't matter what your opponents are giving you, Inala has a pretty great game plan going from there. The same thing with Kess. They can give you can find Demonic Consultation, Tainted Pact, and Fastest Oracle, and you have a pretty clear game plan. Or no, you have to find a reanimation spell. But still, looks pretty good. But as you can see, Silas and Rograk doesn't have a commander-oriented game plan with intuition, and therefore it doesn't really look like a good card for them. We have a Tasgur. We have only 2 decks that actually tested intuition inside Tasgur, so it doesn't look like a recommended card, even though Tasgur kinda wants to fuel his graveyard. He apparently doesn't have a great package with his intuition to do something with it. It's not recommended for Tasgur. Then we have a lot of Esper commanders like Tivit. There is a potential game plan with Tivit, Seller of Secrets, with intuition. You find Lions of Diamond, Time Sieve, the big combo for Tivit, and Svin's Reclamation. whatever they give you, you can still flash back Sevin's Reclamation to regain your time sieve and maybe one more artifact, and from here you should be able to go infinitely. The entire combo basically requires a total of 5 mana and that you discard your entire hand size. However, it's a 1-card combo and all you really need are just tutors. Like for Demonic Tutor, 2 mana, Time Sieve, 2 mana, you're spending 4 mana instead of 5 and you don't have to discard your entire hand size. You can interact with counterspells trying to do that. And having access to black and blue, by the way, means that you're getting a lot of artifact tutors in blue and black tutors in black. So you should be fine without intuition inside your Tivit build. And as you can see here, those that have included it have seen their win rate drop. Next is Sur. Now Sur is not a commander that's doing great, similar to Tasigur, and similar to Tasigur, it didn't really work out at all for Sur playing Intuition. Tymna Malcolm is a very popular commander, but as you can see here, Intuition is not popular inside Esper Tymna Malcolm, and those that have playtested with Intuition in Tymna Malcolm have seen their win rate drastically drop, or not drastically, by 2%. That is a big drop. Then we have the 5-color commanders. I can really see a world where Intuition is great inside Kenrith, because Kenrith can reanimate things. Like you can find 3 annoying creatures with Intuition and reanimate all of them. You can also play the entire Jeskai Underworld Breach packet of Underworld Breach, Sevin's Reclamation and Intuition. But overall, Intuition seems really recommended for Kenrith. Moving over to CEDH, we see a different result. CEDH is very popular. You have 1,397 total CEDH tournament entries, but only 11% out of those have included Intuition, and the ones that did saw a small decrease in their win rate. Sometimes CEDH are actually playing some Underworld Breach concept, but as you can see, it's not really recommended. But, well, it depends. CEDH can build a lot of different builds, but in general, it's not recommended. And from here we're starting to get a pretty good picture of when you should be playing Intuition and when you shouldn't be playing Intuition, but also getting a pretty good picture of what commanders are going to be benefiting from Gifts Ungiven. So for example, if we are unbanning Gifts Ungiven, which commanders will be happy? And the answer to that is Tymna Kraum will be very happy, Elsha of the Infinite will be happy, Narset Enlightened Exile will be happy, Inala will be happy, Kess will also be very happy. Kess could really need some boost and some more cards for her. While Rograk and Celia's Rogsai will not be so happy. I will not care. So the basic verdict is that Intuition is great if you're playing Jeskai or if you're playing some commander that can utilize Intuition in a great synergy with the commander concept. If there any specific commander you actually want me to take a look at, specifically if you should be including Intuition in your commander build, leave a comment below, as I've basically just grabbed the ones that I thought of that were close to being able to consider Intuition in their build. But there are lots of people out there with very different commanders that have very specific ideas what they want to do. Be in mind that there's a lot of commanders that don't have that much data sample on them, so sometimes I can't actually give you a good answer to it. To the question of should we unban Gifts Ungiven, I will leave that up to you. I don't think, according to my data, that Gifts Ungiven is going to dominate or take over the format. It's not going to bring something new, it's just going to bring something we already have, but more. And some commanders, like I've showcased, are going to be benefiting from that, while others won't be gaining anything. And the question is, what commanders do we think need a boost? So, there you go. Is this the pathway we need forward? Like, are these the commanders that we need to boost? Or are some of these commanders that definitely don't need a boost? I will leave the opinions up to the democracy, I guess. In any case, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something new and potentially got inspired in any form of way. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.